I'm hungry.
What is that delicious taste? That sweet and tangy taste doing a funky dance on my wanting palate. The company, Eat the Change, brings to you Maple Mustard Mushroom Jerky with notes of maple syrup, zesty mustard, and gritty turmeric. This jerky will melt in your mouth and provide a sweet, spicy beef taste without a hint of animal products. Includes honest-to-gosh mustard seeds for that extra added hint of texture.
I bet there's some people watching this for the first time and this show is going to be their first impression of me. And then they're gonna see what I'm wearing and they're like, oh, look at this DJ Clive, he's such a hot, hip, and trendy guy. Look at him wearing that spiffy shirt. I bet he's a real party animal. Well, I am not in the partying mood. And I am not an animal, nor am I a mineral. I'm a vegetable. I am plant material. Because I'm a stick in the mud. To those of you watching for the first time, hey, good to meet you. My name is DJ Clive. I have an eating show here called Limbo Grub, and what you see is what you get. Go back and watch all those other close to 280 episodes now and you'll find that I'm exactly the same way. I'm just a miserable, cynical, grumpy, put upon, harried, exhausted pile of dung. I hate everyone and everything, but not as much as I hate myself. This show that I do here, Limbo Grub, I don't monetize this show. I don't get any sweet cheddar from the YouTube people for this show. I do it all for the sake of fun. And I hate fun. And most everything that I've eaten on this show, I have hated. In increasingly verbose ways. And I happen to live with 3 dogs, Squinkies, Creaky, and Donut. And I hate them, and they hate me. Just take Donut over here. Hey Donut, how you doing? See? What did I tell you? He's a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit. We treat each other like pieces of shit. Not an ounce of respect on this show. This show is all about torture and disgust and watching a man's genuine reaction to disgusting things that for some reason are out for the purpose of consumption. Things like pickled pig's feet, Yehuda tahina, goose pate, fish steaks with red hot chilies, king-sized canned red beans, poi, Vegemite, sardines and mustard sauce, crickets, fancy feast cat food, Caesar dog food, bugaboo tea, honeycomb tripe, escargot, pork brains, beef haggis, holiday fruitcake, all for the express purpose of making your good buddy choke and hurt and lose minutes of life right before your eyes. It's not much different than watching a snuff film. Those specific types of snuff films where they kill something the minute that it's born and some freaks out there get off on it. Do you get off on my pain? It's like watching those poor people online at Best Buy waiting to buy the new X station and some YouTuber cuts in the front of the line, buys them all out, and smashes them with a hammer in front of the people. These videos exist! People get a kick out of them! The world is sick! Sick, 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 sick! And you're sick! We need some kind of infusion of medicine to solve that sickness! Is this the answer? Mushroom jerky?
Accumulate filth and other sins and matter with them about their wastes and other whores and politicians will look up and shout, save us! And look down and whisper.
There's a sad truth to this, you know. Because every once in a while I do eat something good on this show, but the sole purpose of Limbo Grub is to find weird and mostly disgusting things to eat. Why is it that every healthy alternative to like a meat product or an unhealthy like greasy product out there ends up on the disgusting pile? You think of all the non-GMO, vegan, alternative, tofu-based products, green cheeseburgers, wheatgrass shakes. I mean, you think about all that stuff and you get that taste in your mouth right away. It's almost like you don't even have to taste them. You can taste them just by looking at them and you're like, ugh. You wonder why vegan people are often some of the most braggadocious people that you meet, because there's such a high barrier of entry to becoming a vegan. It's such a high difficulty level just to overcome that gag reflex to eat their food. It's a hoity-toity exclusive club being a vegetarian, but you know what? They had to go through an initiation, just like getting into Fight Club. You just had to get the shit beaten out of you until the point where you were like all sorts of black and blue and your face was practically popping out every which way like you're mutating. They just had to do it a different way, to their stomachs! And I've had so many meatless jerkies in the past, and I've had tofurkey, and I've had those vegan hot dogs, and this is the first time I'm ever eating a mushroom equivalent to meat. Is this gonna fare any better? I doubt it. And you know, you gotta even think that people who made this think it's disgusting because they're throwing all sorts of other flavors on top of this to muck it up and hide that mushroom taste. There's maple mustard in here, there's bound to be some kind of weird spices just to make it all sorts of tangy in your mouth. When you really put your mind to it, you could turn anything into a jerky. Just think of anything off the top of your head right now. It could be a jerky, and just hide the taste. Just throw all sorts of, like, I don't know, hot sauce on top of it, hickory, you know, smoke it, do whatever you have to do, just obliterate that taste and eat it. It all tastes the same. Make some freaking calf liver into a jerky. Make a cow tongue into a jerky. You go to your local park with a giant lint roller. If you can manage to get a steamroller and get like a little sticky to go around the cylinder like that, just drive over their grass and pick up all their goose poop. You bring all that crap home, you hickory smoke it, turn that into jerky. I bet it won't taste that much different than this. And boy howdy, let me tell you, when you think of the first, people have experimented and tried to eat very strange things, and I think mushrooms take the taco. Who was the first person to try to eat a mushroom? I almost guarantee it had to be some kind of situation where the people were starving and they had nothing else to eat, and they saw, like on some tree, the mushrooms were building up and it was the only thing that they could chew. It had to be that situation, right? I mean, how could it not? I mean, they found themselves in a little bit of a pickle. There was no other food in the area and they needed to sustain themselves, so they got desperate and they did it. The same thing goes with eggs and milk. Just picture just how whacked in the head you would have to be to think to drink milk for the first time from a cow's teat. And what I really don't get is that it smells just like beef jerky. And look at it. It looks just like regular beef jerky. I mean, is that a priority? Why do we have to make it look like beef jerky too? It's a damn mushroom. It shouldn't look like beef. What if they nailed the flavor and it didn't look right? I mean, would I have to go back to the drawing board? Yeah, this don't taste right either. Yeah, it's too chewy. It's really just, there's almost something gummy about it. I mean, I guess the mushroom taste is pretty good. But when I'm eating beef jerky, it's supposed to have a certain snap to it. And I'm pretty sure there's gotta be some kind of technique to get that snap into mushroom jerky as well. Maybe toughen it up a little bit. This is just way too soft. If you like soft jerky, this might be for you, but I don't know, it's kind of screwing with my head a little bit. I have to try to grate it in a vacuum, as hard as it is to say that, but oh, that piece was a little, I mean, I guess like the littler pieces, the like more compact, like corners and stuff, they're a little bit tougher. They got a little bit of that jerky bite to them, but if you've eaten regular jerky, this is gonna really taste substandard to you. It's like what I said before about first impressions. If you've eaten nothing else and you were just eating this, you'd be blissfully unaware and you would like it more. But as it stands, I just can't get out of my head that this is a mushroom with jerky spices on it. And it's squishy in my mouth like a mushroom would be. And jerky's not supposed to be squishy! And on top of everything else, the taste, it's like null. I mean, maple and mustard are strong tastes, at least they're supposed to be. If this were any other jerky, it should be sucking me in the face with that mustard spice taste, but just barely even measures as having a taste at all. It's more like some tasteless chewing exercise for my teeth. Maybe it has to do with making it healthy. I don't know. But you know what? This actually makes sense when I really think about it. I mean, and I apologize if I'm offending anybody out there, but you ever notice with those health nuts out there, the people who only eat like all that organic, natural stuff, they always seem to talk like they exist in another plane of reality, like with their heads in the clouds, very laid back, relaxed, and capable of raising their voices. They experience neither highs nor lows. The apathetic generation, I guess you could call it. Well, isn't this the same thing? The food equivalent of those people? There's no strong tastes. It almost reaches your taste buds and then it retreats. There's no highs, there's no lows. It's like a flavor lost in the clouds. So if I were to give this a star rating, I mean, this one's a little tougher because it's really not bad, but it's not overly good and it is hella boring. So what other grade can I go with other than 2 stars? 2 stars is the perfect grade for this because it's just kind of meandering. It's not a bad product. It's not a good product. It's kind of like in the middle, exactly the way that this tastes. And, you know, on the subject of that, I mean, these are my least favorite kinds of food to cover on the show. The ones that don't give me any material. There's really nothing to talk about here. I really gotta do, you know, I gotta jump through hoops to try to turn this into material, try to make it entertaining somehow. This gave me nothing. I mean, hey, this is a good alternative to beef jerky. If you're a vegetarian, there's a chance that this might be more flavorful than anything you've eaten all day. But for the regular meat-eating public such as myself, you're gonna forget that you ate this somehow before you even eat it! And such a boring, uneventful food will make for a boring, uneventful episode of Limbo Grub. Good buddy DJ Clive saying, until next time, I'll see you in Limbo! And you know, I've been through a lot in recent weeks, months, for me, years and decades! I've gone through the stages of grief. I know something is coming for me. Most likely, it's gonna come walking through that door, much like the man in black and I Am Error did before it. I've got my eye ever fixed on the countdown, waiting for deliverance. I know now what I must do. I'm sure some days will go by where I am anxious. I'm sure some days will go by where I'm depressed. But one thing must not change. I must accept. There is no getting out of it. I've tried that multiple times and I self-sabotage. The powers that be want me to go out like this. It's written in the book of fate, and I, the puppet, must obey the strings that pull me in that direction. That is what it is. Until next time, guys.